I am doing Aniyome no Ijippari, or Love-in-Law, because of a request I got a few weeks back, so let's dive in immediately. Katsuragi Mai is our main chick, and obviously she will have a lot of fun. She is also the one that will introduce us to a few toys in the process, one of which she uses herself while alone. Takama Kozue is our redhead that will enjoy some pipe, and unlike Katsuragi, Takama will experience quite a few things for the first time. And yes, these are the only two chicks in this. Now, let's dive into the story. We have this dude called Katsuragi Tsutomu, Mai's brother-in-law. Since he still goes to school, I guess more university because he seems to be in his early 20s, but who knows, he lives with Mai and her husband Shigeki. Shigeki, not Shingeki. Shigeki is out of town because of work, whatever the hell he does for a living, and not only has to leave his wife behind, but their newborn as well. Now, if he works or is even the owner of the flower shop is actually unclear, but at least Mai works there. Maybe she's the actual owner? Who knows, who cares? Now, since she needs a little bit of help around the shop despite Tsutomu already giving her a hand, just helping out, nothing more, she hires Takama Kozue. And a bit of good news for Mai is that her husband is finally coming back. Until he isn't. For whatever reason he has to stay longer away, and Mai's reaction to that is... to get drunk. Now guess what will happen as soon as Tsutomu gets home and wants to stop her from drinking? Yeah, so pipe riding is in the house. The next day she wants to rather forget what happened between the both of them, but still remain the same amount of relationship they had up until that point. Tsutomu, however, doesn't really play that game and starts to get distant. Well, can you blame him? Takama notices that something is up, but nothing evolves from it. At least not until Tsutomu finds out that Mai rides a plastic or rubber pipe while thinking about him. That results in them having fun once again. This time multiple times, and the next day is all good. Well, of course it is. Sex is the solution to everything after all. But Tsutomu starts to get out of hand a bit, and because of this Takama finds him kissing Mai while at work. Now, Takama starts to get distant towards the two. Man, it seems like giving everybody the cold shoulder is the solution for everybody in this world. But okay, she doesn't do that because she's mad. It's more a mix of jealousy, because she doesn't have fun with her own husband, I guess, and the fact that she didn't even know how to talk to them. Well, okay, I get it, it's somewhat understandable. Mai and Takama talk about it and, Mai comes up with the bright idea to send Tsutomu on a date with Takama. After having some fun at the pool, just some fun, no pipe riding involved here, supposedly, and seeing how these guys inspected Takama, come on, I would too, they end up in a hotel and there the pipe riding starts. When Tsutomu gets home, Mai is mad at him because he didn't answer her calls. So yes, she got jealous even though she was the one that came up with the idea. Ha! Just like a woman! But remember what I've said? Sex solves everything, and exactly that's what happens. But it doesn't end there, because when Takama wants to quit her job, Mai suggests to share Tsutomu with her, hence her face here. But Tsutomu is loyal to just one woman. He has no interest in, of course he will pipe both, what else? 2 episodes and that's about it. Now, I've made a bit of fun of the story and how the characters act, but honestly, it's not all that bad. Of course it's all netorare since Mai and Takama are married, but since they are desperate for that special kind of attention, and of course some pipe riding, Tsutomu turns out to be one lucky bastard. Really, I actually feel bad for their husbands. Sure, they have to work a lot and cannot pay their wives much attention, at least not as they would have liked, but since these thoughts start riding some other dude's pipe, I will gladly help out with the divorce papers. And yes, I call them thoughts, but ultimately, that's what Mai calls Takama in the end as well. Not only that, but Takama embraces it all the way. So that's what both of them actually are. But in the end, this hentai ends up being the typical netorare hentai, and that's fine actually, especially when both Mai and Takama look rather hot. Mai likes to wear short skirts and we all love her for that, while Takama is a bit more conservative, but to compensate for that, Takama in a bikini? Pfft, no wonder these dudes were looking at her. Again, who wouldn't? And yes, let the chicks make all the faces they want. It won't change the fact that Takama is fucking hot. And seeing how Mai is just wearing a towel in the first few seconds of the first episode, oh boy! Is it hot in here or is it just me? For 2008, this hentai looks rather good. Heck, it looks really good. Sure, expressions were not always on point like in this scene. Her expression seems a bit off for some reason, and Tsutomu looks like the typical generic hero in a hentai, but Maya and Takama alone make up for it. Bright colors all around and not even all that many repeated scenes during the pipe ride. Almost none. Damn, they went all out here. But then we've got the creme de la creme. I simply love this kind of atmosphere. City life at night. Sure, it only lasts for a few seconds in episode 2, but damn, that looks awesome. Just look at that! On top of it, all three characters have some funny expressions at times. Mai tends to have that mad expression at times that makes her look more cute than actually scary. This expression I've already shown, but there is another one in the last few seconds that is a reference to a well-known painting. But watch that one for yourself, I won't spoil it here. As a surprise, it even has an opening and ending, even though it just has 2 episodes. Sure, the opening is instrumental and just lasts a few seconds, but it's still a nice introduction to the episodes, while the ending lets you slide out of the episodes with a slow song. Yeah, with lyrics. Nicely done. Needless to say, Aniyome no Ijippari was actually quite good overall, with some really nice looking chicks that have some really nice pair of melons, and some fine pipe riding scenes. But nothing too crazy, despite some toys helping out here and there. Blue versus red, Mai versus Takama. You decide, because I already have.